Hey guys, Wise Gamer here, bringing you another indie game review. Today we're looking at Slime Jumper, a game that just came out yesterday that blends some elements of Mario, Mario Party, and Super Meat Boy really is the biggest element here that I noticed. In a game that is really cool. It's a 2D platformer that actually has a few unique elements to it, as well as some, kind of like interesting story mode type things, stuff like that as well. So with that being said, let's go and hop right into it. So Slime Jumper. Now, like I said, this game is really kind of a casual indie game. Really reminds me of Super Meat Boy in the single player experience, in that you are a slime cube basically that can jump on walls and kind of, climb up the walls, do the typical platformer thing that we've seen in a lot of other indie games too. But they've taken it a little bit further too, and they added some other elements. Like there's a lot more, a lot of unique destructive things like swinging ball chains that you can jump on, some with spikes that kill you. There's like cannons and missile launchers and stuff like that too. But they actually have other things involved where it's kind of like a Super Mario in a way, where you can change what type of slime you have by collecting these stars and then redeeming them to buy slimes. And you can actually turn into different ones, like iron slime, for example, that allows you to take like an extra shot from a missile. Instead of dying on the first one, you get 2 shots instead. All the way up to like this really good one that actually makes you immune to spikes completely, which would be crazy cool. I wish I had that one unlocked. So you kind of get like the elements of like the suits from Mario, where you gather a feather and you get an extra ability, or a mushroom and you become Big Mario. So kind of a cool, interesting like idea with all of that. And the game adds a lot of other elements into it as well. Gameplay wise, it's pretty good. I would say I enjoyed it. It's definitely one of those like rage-inducing ones as you move on to later levels. However, I did notice also that there was a little bug that I hope gets fixed. I consider it a bug at least, where if you hold down A on the Xbox controller, if you hold down space on the keyboard, then your slime just continues to jump, right? So it's just jump. However, when you're on the side of a wall and you try to like jump off that wall, sometimes there's an issue with that where like it doesn't register the jump right away, or what will happen is sometimes you land on something and it's such a like small jump, or try like a minute jump, I guess, that it actually does like a second jump right away. It's a little hard to describe unless you play it, but it was a little frustrating. But once you get used to it, you can work around it, and it's kind of more like a feature, I guess, than a bug possibly. Depends on how the dev wants to take it. Now visually, the artwork's really basic. I was a little bit let down that there wasn't a little bit better pixel art in here or anything. I hope it gets better with time. I mean, art assets are something that can definitely be changed. However, right now, the overall feel is just like really basic art. I mean, it fits for what you're doing here. It doesn't need to be super pretty. It's just making those comparisons to Super Meat Boy. I thought that game was absolutely beautiful. There was some great artwork in there, and unfortunately there wasn't the same here. It's not bad art necessarily, it's just you could tell that there wasn't as much time put into it. Audio-wise, I thought it was fine. I like the sound effects. You could definitely, have that little popping explosion type sound every time you die, or a rocket gets shot, or something like that. The jump sound is fine, it jumps every single time. Obviously, there's just a really basic sound effect there. Nothing too crazy, but the music felt really good too. It felt really good and immersive into the game. Replayability-wise, there's actually quite a bit. So, I already mentioned a little bit of the unique mechanics of unlocking other slime suits, basically, or just other types of slimes, like the iron slimes and stuff like that. So you definitely want to collect as many stars as possible. You can actually get 3 different stars per level. And there's actually, I think we're going to say like 90 levels in story mode right now. Some of them are like boss levels and stuff like that too. And then as you play each one, there's actually like checkpoints that you can place down too. So there's like 15 levels per world, 6 different worlds, so that makes 90 levels that you can actually go through. And as you're playing through the game, you can place down a checkpoint, so if you die, you respawn at that checkpoint. So it's not as rage-inducing as like Super Meat Boy, where you just have to start the entire level over. However, those stars go away. So you do want to make sure you pick up all the stars without dying, so that way you don't have to go back and try to pick them up and stuff like that too. So it's got some replayability because of that. There's also a level editor and there's Steam Workshop integration, so you can actually create levels and upload them, as well as download other ones, rate them, stuff like that too. So that's pretty neat as well. Finally, there's also some local multiplayer. Now, this is something I actually was not able to test out myself. I didn't have anyone to play with at the time. However, I noticed that it's up to 4 different players if you're playing with controls. You can play 2 people on 1 keyboard though if you wanted as well, which is kind of cool. So you don't necessarily have to have 4 controllers. And really what you do is there's kind of like different game modes. I think there's 6 different mini games right now. There's like a capture the flag, collect as many stars as you can, that type of thing, and the players can actually shoot like bullets or like these types of balls out basically. So it actually becomes pretty destructive and a lot of fun too, apparently. Now again, I didn't get to test that myself, but it does add a whole other element. Multiplayer is huge to me, so replayability is just big in that sense as well. Really, the drawbacks for me, like I said, the art, I wish there was a little bit more involved there. There wasn't too much done. I know that the story is there. I mean, there's obviously like a guy at the beginning that kind of takes something away from you and stuff like that too. However, I wish it was a little bit more in depth and kind of like said a little bit more about what's going on with everything here. But these games, you know, usually they're just kind of very simplistic in that sense too. They don't go too in depth with that. Overall, the other drawback is there's a little bit of performance issues I noticed. If there's a lot going on the screen, like a lot of things breaking apart, or if you continue to jump in one spot, for example, you leave these little like pixel squares, these little voxel squares almost, and they'll actually pile up on screen so much that it slows down the game and sluggish, and that can actually kind of sort of work in your favor. Like you can just jump a bunch, slow down the frame rate, and then react easier to different things. Obviously, I feel like that's a little bit cheating, and I feel like it's a little bit buggy and needs some performance upgrades. I mean, I have a really beefy computer, and the fact that it was sluggish like that was just something that tells me that it wasn't written too optimized at the moment. However, the requirements overall are really low. I mean, Windows XP are higher, a dual core, 2.4 gigahertz or higher. So I mean, if you have an Intel dual core or an AMD dual core of 3 gigahertz or higher for them. I mean, pretty low requirements there, 2 gigs of RAM, stuff like that. So it's not that, you know, a huge like drawback on performance or anything like that, but I noticed that it does get a little sluggish at times too if there's a lot going on the screen. Overall though, I still would recommend the game. Now I think that, I mean, it's quite a bit of fun. If you like Super Meat Boy, if you like those rage-inducing games, you'll enjoy this. If you don't, then you might want to stay away from it though. I know that for me personally, like there's times I got frustrated and I just completely walked away, didn't play any more games for the day, which I don't like that feeling, so you know, it's a little bit tough for me, but I do find this game a little bit less rage-inducing than others because of the checkpoint system and stuff like that too, and you know, I do want to go back and try to unlock more slimes, and that will just make everything easier too. So overall guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll have all the links down in the description. Again, the game just came out yesterday, so I hope you guys check it out. If you did like the video, hit that like button. If you didn't, you can hit that dislike button as well. I do these reviews Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so feel free to subscribe and check out the next one when it comes up. Thanks again guys, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.